If you feel pressure when you sell, it's not because buyers are difficult. It's because you're trying to close before you've built certainty. But here's the good news. I've been there before, and I'm going to show you a way out. See, the market has changed. Buyers hesitate. Trust is lower, and surface level conversations, they don't work anymore. So today I'm introducing a tool called the Rapport Ladder. This is a 5-level framework that's going to move your conversations from like surface level facts to emotion to the most important level, which is identity. Because when certainty rises, what you'll notice is that your customers' pressure will completely disappear. And if they feel pressure, their amygdala is hijacking them, and it's going to sabotage allowing themselves to buy something from you. Hey, before we go any further, I want you to know something. This framework is just one of the tools that I personally teach inside of the 5-4-3 Factor Conversion Challenge. This is a 5-day, 1 hour a day live coaching experience where we completely rewire how you lead buyers to decisions. Inside of the challenge, you're going to learn the mindset, the language, and the exact process that stops the chase. Who wants to chase? I don't want to chase. Stops the discounting, because no one wants that, and replaces all kinds of pressure or cheesy tactics with complete certainty. So if you're ready to stop discounting and start creating depth, click the link below and join me on the inside. All right, let's get back to it. Let me say something out loud that most home builder, roofer, remodelers, home service pros aren't going to admit, at least publicly. And that's you're exhausted. Not because of the hours, not because of rejection. You're exhausted because you feel forced into pressure. You walk into every sales conversation knowing this one thing, and that is if things slow down, buyers start to hesitate. If they start looking at other options, the deal gets weaker. If too much time passes, your competitors, they start creeping in. So what happens? You corner, you defend price, you get argumentative, you start pushing artificial urgency that only creates buyer's remorse. You fight objections, you feel like your paycheck depends on confrontation and being aggressive. Meanwhile, your customer, what do they want? They want time, they want trust, they want space, they want certainty, they want protection, they want to feel safe from you. On the other hand, your company wants you to make sales fast with no discounts. So now you're stuck in the middle. You're paid like a hunter, expected to act like a consultant. That's an internal conflict. And that, my friends, is what's burning you out. Listen, I have trained thousands of sales pros in home building, remodeling, roofing, in-home services, you name it. And I can tell you this with my complete certainty: the problem isn't your effort, the economy, or even the price. The problem is depth. So what's happening right now is you're trying to close decisions at the surface level when certainty only lives at the identity level. So today, I'm going to give you the exact framework that I use and all of our high ticket, top tier clients use to eliminate pressure selling and increase conversions without discounting or some sort of same day coupon that really never works. It's called the Rapport Ladder. And once you understand it, I promise you this one thing: you are going to stop chasing and you are going to start creating certainty. How do I know this to be true? Because it worked for me and it's worked for thousands of other people that we have taught this one secret to. Now, you might be wondering, why is it necessary to go deeper with them? Like deeper with your customers? Like you're probably wondering, why can't I just present well? Why can't I just answer all the great questions and then let them decide? Look, I get it. It's a fair question, but let me tell you where I personally learned this. When I was 16 years old, I thought selling was about being smooth, about being good looking, about having all the quick answers. And I had just left my dad's jewelry store that I've been working at my entire life, and I started working in retail. First, it was a Banana Republic at the Galleria Mall and then Hugo Boss. And I had a sales manager named Diana who changed how I see selling forever. So thank you, Diana. She pulled me aside one day and said, Jason, the number one rule of retail is this. You got to make it easy for them to give you their money. And I said, all right, I'm listening. Tell me how to do this. And she said something I will never forget. She said, when someone goes into the fitting room, don't let them leave unless they're going to buy something. Then she said this thing. I can't believe I'm telling you this right now, but just what she said. She said, Jason, they will only get naked for you once. Now, as a 16-year-old good Christian boy, I was like, Diana, what are we talking about here? I'm selling slacks. I'm selling Cheetos. I'm selling a dress. She said, Jason, think about it. When someone walks into a fitting room and tries something on and it doesn't fit right, they're not going to put their own clothes back on, go walk over, find another size, come back, get undressed again, and then try it on. So you only get one shot to take their clothes off. You only get one shot to get them naked. So what did that mean to a 16-year-old boy, and what does it mean to you? It meant I had to bring options to them. I had to organize the experience. I had to make it easy for them to buy something that day that improved their life and solved whatever problem they were coming in with. I had to control the environment. And after a while, I realized that the lesson wasn't really about clothes, it was about sacrifice. Because the moment someone steps into that fitting room, they've already paid something. They've paid their time. They've paid their effort. They paid their emotional energy. They paid vulnerability. See, that's the psychology of commitment. So now I want you to watch how this connects to your world. When a customer chooses you over a competitor, they always have to sacrifice something. So maybe it's money, maybe it's time, maybe it's convenience, maybe it's location, or it's the lot, it's the timeline, maybe it's social approval, maybe it's risk, maybe it's having to say no to some other financial expense so they can say yes to you. I mean, sometimes we're even competing against like the next vacation, or maybe they want to buy a car. And so we're competing against all these other things or people that are trying to take their money. And so that's what we're competing against. And once you see that, you realize this one thing. So I want you to write this down. The only way they choose you is if their why becomes greater than the sacrifice. The why, which is your customer's why, must be greater than the sacrifice. Now, again, you know this to be true because think of all the things in your life that first you have to figure out, like, what's the sacrifice you have to make, whatever goal it is you're trying to achieve. And then you have to figure out, okay, is it really worth it? Like, how bad do I really want this? How bad is it? How bad am I really going to struggle for this? So the why must be greater than the sacrifice. So here's the second rule that you need to write down. When rapport is lost, all is lost. But I need you to listen really closely because rapport is not what you think it is at the level that I want to show you. And most people have been taught a level of rapport that might have worked like in the past, like it might have worked in easier times. Like most people, like most of us have been completely bamboozled. What a great word that is, bamboozled into believing rapport is like talking about the weather, talking about sports. And they believe that it's about like being likable. Like that's the whole way. And sure, I'm not knocking that. Of course, you got to be likable. And that's a certain level of rapport. I mean, that's definitely rapport. If your customer cares about that, then that's great. Then you've accomplished what rapport is. But let me ask you a serious question. If your rapport is just surface level small talk, is that enough to overcome the sacrifice of them spending 20, 30, 40, 100% more to buy from you? And it's not. But you already know that, right? You just might not have had a tool in order to analyze it, diagnose it, and do something about it until today. And here's the thing, in today's economy, it's definitely not enough. Again, it might have worked in a previous economy, but not in this economy. So in other markets, it was socially acceptable to improve your house, to remodel your kitchen. Like everyone was doing it, and so everyone's doing it, I can do it too. But in this market, it's just not socially acceptable. And so we have to make sure that their intrinsic why is greater than the sacrifice. And one of the biggest sacrifices they have to make is that social approval, is to be able to go back to their friends and family, sometimes their parents if they're younger, and be able to say, hey, I decided to spend $100,000 remodeling this, or hey, I decided to leave my current home and buy a new home, or I decided to stop renting and buy a home. And of course, their parents, friends, you did what in this economy with this interest rate and this, like all that stuff, that's that social disapproval they're going to get. And so that's a pretty big sacrifice. Why? Because all the research is really clear, and that's unfortunately, most human beings are kind of followers by nature. And so they're really just looking for social approval to feel safe. But at the same time, they want to buy what you are offering them. So right now, they have extrinsic motivation, that social approval that's making them feel safe to buy. But in a tough market like we're in now, they don't have that social approval. So where does that social approval come from? Number one, it comes from you. And number two, it comes from within themselves. We have to pull it out of them. We have to use pull motivation versus push motivation, right? Push motivation is that external kind of carrot and stick motivation that we've all been kind of taught before. It's like in order to get them to do something, you reward them, or you punish them, or you scare the crap out of them with all kind of scare tactics. That's external motivation, but that doesn't really work in a situation like we're in right now. So in this type of economy where it's a little bit uncertain, we need to use pull motivation, which is that want-to motivation. See, that desire to improve one's life has more influence over a person's buying decision than any other factor. I mean, just think about even in times of your own life when you were scared, you were maybe financially not well off, but you decided to buy something anyway, something that it really improved your life. Like, think about what that was. And the question is, why did you do it even though it might have financially put a strain on you? Or maybe you knew that your parents or your friends and family wouldn't really approve of the purchase. I bet you if you can think of that purchase, it's because it just flat out improved your life. It helped you become someone that you were trying to become. Maybe it was a better mom or a better dad, a better friend, a better husband, a better wife, but you did it because the internal why was greater than the external sacrifice. So what I've done right now is over the last, 20 years and working with thousands of salespeople, I've always been struggling with how do I teach them a higher level of rapport? Because unfortunately, there's a lot of trainers out there, and it's not your fault, but a lot of trainers out there were teaching you a surface level of rapport that's just not enough. And one of my backgrounds is in neuro-linguistic programming, which is the science and psychology of how high producers think, speak, and act. And even though I didn't learn this specifically through NLP, what I did do is I've worked with myself and other high producers and try to figure out, like, how did they get to a different level of rapport, and what's the rapport necessary in order to cause people to take drastic action, to do something about changing their life. And I developed it from really helping people change their own personal behavior. This is the Rapport Ladder. This ladder explains how you create a why that can actually overcome pretty much any kind of sacrifice. As you can see, there are 5 levels of rapport. And here's the thing, most salespeople, they never climb high enough. And that's what I want you to do right now. I want you to think about an actual prospect that you're working with right now, one that's stalled, one that's ghosted you, one that said, I got to think about it. I'm not really sure yet. Let me get back to you. And I want us to walk through like that actual prospect. And here's my promise to you. If you can stick with me to the end, you will 100% give yourself a pay raise because of this lesson. There has not been one single time, like not one, that I've personally coached or my team has coached a person using this rapport ladder where they were stuck with a prospect. I don't know, Jason. I don't know what I could have done differently. I think they're done. I think it's it. And I take them through the rapport ladder and they immediately go, yeah, that's it. Yep. I was only at this level and I could have got to this level. I didn't do it. I'm telling you right now, it's the craziest thing in the world. I don't even know why I'm giving this away for free right now because that's how good this thing is, okay? So at level 1, we have the surface level of rapport. This is what I call the what level. This is the bottom of the ladder. This is the surface level, fact level conversation. So what are some examples of this? This is stuff like how many bedrooms, how many baths are you looking for? What's your budget? What's your price range? Tell me, your time frame for wanting to get this job done. Like those are these kind of surface level type things, right? These are your basic questions and they're necessary. And it's like the facts. It's the facts of the job. This is like the ticket to the dance. That's what my dad would always say. It's just you got a ticket to the dance. Doesn't mean you're going to dance with the girl, right? So first you got to get in the dance and then you got to be good enough to be able to get the girl to dance with you. So as you all know, it's just not enough. The surface level rapport is not enough. Or let me ask you, like right now, think about that prospect that you're working. Think about all they have to sacrifice and then just you answer the question for yourself. Is just knowing the basics, just the facts, the time frame, the budget, the basic things they're looking for, is that enough to overcome the sacrifice, the social disapproval? Yeah, it's not. It's not enough, right? See, here's the thing. Your bigger competitors, they usually never go higher than this. Why is that? Because your bigger competitors, more of the national size builders or remodelers or roofers, the bigger companies you're competing against, the publicly traded companies, they can buy love. Let me say it again. They can buy love. They can buy the deal because they've got huge pockets. They got all kinds of cash and they can discount the heck out of everything they're selling. They literally can bribe the sacrifice away. Now, how do I know that? Because I've worked for those bigger public companies. I've worked for them. I was the head of national sales training for one of those billion-dollar companies. So I know exactly their tricks of the trade, but I've spent 15 years, at least 16 years of my life helping little guys, helping the smaller companies beat the Goliaths. I'm here to teach you how to sell like David, because here's the thing. That strategy only works like that like buy the deal strategy that the bigger companies are using. That only works when you have massive budgets, unlimited traffic, and honestly, no need for trust. So if that's you, stop the video, keep discounting, keep buying that love. That's fine. But that's not how true sales warriors sell. I don't know about you, but that's not really fun. That's not really why I do this. I don't spend my entire life mastering the craft of my mindset, my process, and language, only to say, you know what? I'm not very good at this, so I'm just going to buy you off. I'm just going to lower the price until you say mercy. That seems like a cop-out. I'm not doing that, and you shouldn't do it either. So here's the thing. We don't win with discounts. We win by going deeper. So once we pass level 1, if you're serious, and I know you are, about winning more sales without discounting, you need to master the skill that moves people up the rapport ladder from what they want at the surface level to who they're trying to become. So download the digital version of the Rapport Ladder, use it, practice it, internalize it. Click the link below. All right. Back to the video. We go to level 2, and this is the situational level. This is the why level. So this is like the why behind the what. So let's talk about some examples. So if the what was, I need a 4-bedroom, then the why is, why do you need the extra bedroom? And of course, the customer is going to say, well, we got a newborn baby on the way. See, that's better, right? Like, think about it. Like right now, finding out like, why do they need to remodel their kitchen? Why do they need to remodel their bathroom? Why do they need new flooring? Why do they need better landscaping? Why do they need a shorter commute? Like that's great. And that obviously gives you way more leverage, way more position of strength. That why is starting to be better, to be more powerful than the sacrifice. But what a great question, Jason. But what a great point. But even that level is still not enough. when the sacrifice is real. And right now, we got a lot of sacrifices because another bedroom might not just overcome spending $50,000, $100,000 more. It might not be enough to sacrifice that social disapproval or waiting longer or having to move twice. Or it might not be enough when they have to compromise on something else, like a vacation they wanted to take, or maybe a car they wanted to buy. So, warriors, we climb to another level. Okay, so now we're gonna go to level 3, the experiential level. This is the why now level, right? That's a cool question, right? Why now? See, this is where true warriorship begins. This is where we move past being that order taker, that helper, that sales amateur. This is where we move up to that sales professional and that sales warrior level. This is the minimum level a sales warrior must reach in the first conversation. Not just what do you want, not just why do you want it, but why now? Like, why is it so important for you, like right now? See, sales pros, this is where the story lives. See, this is where emotional urgency like takes place. Not fake urgency, not fear of missing out, not some cheesy coupon, but true urgency that's going to come from within inside of their soul. It's meaningful urgency. So here's an example. So if the what is we need 4 bedrooms, the why is because we have a newborn baby, the why now is what changed that made this urgent now. And then the real story is going to come out. See, then the customer is going to say, oh, well, because the last time we had 2 kids sharing a room, it was complete chaos. A toddler woke up, and then the baby woke up, and then the baby sometimes wakes the toddler and the babies. We got kids, we got toddlers, we got babies in the middle of the night, and nobody sleeps. And then we're stressed out, mom's stressed out, dad's stressed out. And we just said, enough's enough. We're never doing that again. I am a parent. Some of you are parents, and I'm sure you get it. All of you had parents. Talk to your parents if you don't know what I'm talking about yet. But when babies don't sleep very well and kids are crying in the middle of the night and parents aren't sleeping well, yeah, you start to kind of think about your life choices, all right? So here's the thing. We're getting somewhere right now, aren't we? See, at this level, you can move up the ladder fast if you know what you're doing. So again, it's the what do you want? Why do you want it? Why now? And once you hit experiential, now the why starts getting strong enough to compete and starts to overpower that sacrifice. But warriors, we're not done. So level 4 is the emotional level. This is the meaning. And what's cool about this level is I remember hearing from Tony Robbins one time, great mentor of mine. And he said, it's not about like what we're trying to accomplish in our life. It's about the meaning that we give it. And I remember just like really, he's really the one that kind of brought this idea of emotional states and the meanings to things. And, it's not the circumstance that really matters. It's the meaning we give it. Because you can have 2 people. They're like, I love the winter. And a person's like, I hate the winter. The circumstance is the same. It's like, well, why does one love it and one hate it? Well, the one that loves it immediately thinks of like, all the Christmas and all the holiday stuff that comes with the winter. Maybe they're into like skiing and like snow activities. And the person who hates it is like, just thinks of like cold and like, shoveling snow and like taking the ice off their car. And so it's the circumstance is the same, but it's the meaning that we give it. All right, now we're getting somewhere. And here's a line that I want you to burn into your brain. Jason, that seems a little bit dramatic. Just hear me out, okay? When my certainty rises, their fear falls. And see, that's what your customers are begging. They're begging. They need from you so much. They need to feel protected by you. They need to feel connected by you. And see, this is where you uncover how it feels for them. Because emotions drive behavior and behavior drives results. So we don't just understand the situation, we understand the meaning behind the situation. So here's the technique. I need you to own the emotion and then let them confirm or correct it. And that's a cool thing that your customers will do. Let me explain this. So you want to label the emotion for them based on how you would feel, and then you would ask them to choose. The reason why I think this is so great is because instead of just that awkwardness of, so I'm curious, how do you feel about blank? Like instead of that, it's like, if I was in your shoes, I feel blank. Like, so I want you to feel it. I want you to put yourself literally in their shoes. That's technically what empathy is. Empathy is I feel what you feel. But most of us never allow ourselves to feel what the person feels. And so we got to feel what they feel. Okay. So you would say something like, I could only imagine if I was in your shoes, I'd be stressed. I'd be anxious. I'd be worried that the kids are going to wake up, and then everybody wakes up and now the whole house is tense. So I'm curious, Mr. Customer, how did you feel back then? Were you anxious? Were you frustrated? Were you angry? Sometimes I get kind of angry, or something else. Now, here's what's going to happen, sales pros, is that one of two things are going to happen. They're going to say, yeah, I felt anxious. I felt worried. I felt mad. I felt disappointed. They're going to immediately own an emotion, which is super cool. Or they're going to correct your label and they're going to say, no, I don't really feel that. I actually felt that. I didn't feel scared. I didn't feel worried. I felt ashamed. I don't know. They're gonna pick a different emotion. It's actually fine. It's great. There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually awesome, because it doesn't matter if you're right. It matters if you're clear. So either way, it's a win, because once you label it, you tame it. And then you ask the next question. If you don't want to feel blank, how do you want to feel instead? See, now you have their current emotional state and their desired emotional state. And that, my friends, is super awesome sauce powerful. All right, level 5 is the identity level. And this is, who do you want to become? So let's go back to the cool poster here. So again, the highest level is the identity level, and that's the who. We got to sell who they're becoming. So again, this is the highest level. This is the pinnacle of all selling. Be in the top 1% of all sales pros to help out the human race, to help out the friends around you that are trying to solve big problems, to help out your customers solve big decisions and big problems. You got to get to the identity level. Say identity. See, the reason why people don't change is because they're not clear on their identity they're moving away from and the identity they're moving towards. And so your job, your role, your purpose as a sales freedom fighter, that's who I think you are, a sales freedom warrior, is your job is to help them clarify the identity that they're currently in and the identity they're moving towards. And here's the thing. This is where people stop buying things and start buying transformation. You're not here to take another transaction. You're here to transform something. I know that because you're watching this very long video from me. So if you're more of a transactional salesperson, you would have stopped the video long ago. You're like, this is too much work. But because you're a transformational salesperson, because you're in this as a career, it's not a job for you. This is your career choice. This is a calling for you to change someone's life. And so because of that, you know that you're a transformational sales pro, and I want to meet you someday because I love my transformational sales warriors. And here's the thing. Identity is what makes their sacrifice completely irrelevant. You connect emotion to identity like this. This is what I want you to practice, all right? Is you would say something like this to the customer. So if you're feeling anxious every night, what kind of parent does that make you? And just pause for a second. They're going to tell you. They're going to say something like, well, I don't feel very present. I feel worried. I feel distracted. I feel overbearing, not who I want to be. And then you ask, okay, then who do you want to be instead? And then now they're going to say, I want to be present. I want to be peaceful. I want to be confident. I want to be proud. And when they say that out loud, now the why becomes greater than the sacrifice. All right, sales professionals, here's a test that I want to give you to see if you can see what I see. Is right now, I just want you to look through the eyes of a peaceful parent. Even if you're not a parent, but I want you to look through the eyes of a peaceful parent. Would you pay 20% more if you felt certain it would allow you to be a peaceful parent? Yeah, the answer is yes. See, that's why this works. Big companies win with discounts, but you, my friends, win with depth. Because when you help a customer climb the rapport ladder, you're not manipulating them, you're helping them get clear. And when they get clear, they can resolve this big, huge life decision that you're taking them through right now. And when they resolve it, they move. So this is what I teach, because pressure-based selling is dying, or at least I hope it's dying. I hope it's going away. And this is why, since I was 25 years old, I made it my personal mission to ignite the pride, purpose, and respect of professional selling. See, I believe sales is a calling and transformation is the outcome. And here's the thing. The reason why pressure-based selling is dying is because it's not just hurting customers, but it's burning out great salespeople like yourself. The goal isn't to win the deal today. The goal is to win something bigger, the sales experience that transforms their life. Because when you lead with a process that creates resolution, you win twice. You win the experience and you win the sale. So if you're sick of sales pressure, if you're tired of let me think about it and ghosting, don't push harder, go deeper. Use the rapport ladder. And the next time you hear we need to think about it, just remember that's not a price problem. That's a rapport depth problem. And that's exactly why I teach this framework inside of the 5-4-3 factor conversion challenge, because I don't want you guessing what to say. I don't want you relying on pressure or cheesy tactics. I don't want you being inauthentic. I don't want you competing on price. I want you to become the market instead of begging for the market to change. So if you're ready to stop surviving appointments and start leading them, click the link below and join us. And if this video helped you, subscribe to this channel, but most importantly, share it with other salespeople that are lost or that are still stuck in cheesy tactics or pressure-based selling and want to transform to a purpose-driven sales career. This is Jason Forrest. Push yourself to become a better version of you.